What is up, my guys? It is your boy, PCYGO, with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro video. This is Brian. What place did you get at Locals yesterday?
I took 5th place out of 32 people.
All right, and what deck were you playing?
I was playing Eldlich.
All right.
I guess we can just get right into the profile.
Yeah, if you want to.
I play, for my Zoo ratios, I play 3 copies of Ram.
You want to flip that around if you want.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Yep.
3 copies. Then 2 copies of Whiptail and 1 copy of Thoroughblade.
All right.
The Zoo ratios I see in most lists are smaller than this. But the reason I play a higher Zoo count than others is because drawing these guys in a simplified game state is insane. Because you can just swing with any Xyz and make a Zeus, and they have to deal with that with like 2 cards, which is very hard for most decks. And they're just amazing cards. Like, they have amazing utility. Like, this can negate Imperm and Fogblade, which are both, like, not so much Imperm, but PK is pretty popular.
PK is pretty popular, that is true.
Whiptail can out-Dragoon if you have nothing else to deal with it. And she also just outs a lot of other things, like Eldlich traps that were summoned by off their own effects. You can banish those instead of putting them in the graveyard. And the Thoroughblade has Piercing, which is something.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, so that's it for the Zoo engine. Next, there's 2 copies of Eldlich the Golden Lord. Not much to say here. He's amazing. You have to play him if you want to play his deck. Otherwise, look at a different engine.
You're also not playing the gold versions, which is great because those look terrible.
That's all I've been told. Hand traps. I play 3 Nib. Dragon Link's pretty popular format. Nib on its own won't stop them because they'll usually put up Seal as the 5th summon. But if you have like another hand trap to work with that, then maybe you can slow them down. Speaking of Dragon Link, 3 copies of Phantasma in the main. This card is insane against Dragon Link because they always go into like the spheres, the LP and the Striker Dragon. So you can like get a free start Yuja effect off this and draw into your other hand traps. I'm probably not the best example to be showing this, but because my other hand traps are 3 copies of Ash, this card isn't like super powerful right now, but it hits a lot of decks. Rogue decks kind of have power cards that need to resolve, like fucking trains have to resolve Urgent Schedule, those kind of things, where Ash is just really good.
Or top deck Red Eyes Fusion.
Yeah, top deck Red Eyes Fusion especially. Like, the Ash is hilarious against that. So that's it for the hand traps.
For a second, when you said this card's going to make it not make sense, I thought you were going to say Gamma.
Well, I'm talking about, like, powerful hand traps that you want to draw Phantasmic.
No, yeah, I understand.
As for the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Tanky, Searches a Zoo, you can send it off for Eldlich, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Cursed Eldland, gets you to your Eldlich engine, draws in a Zoo, and you have full combo. 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, you could probably cut this. I'm probably going to test Power Prosperity in this deck pretty soon. But I like that this can deal with, like, tidying and shit. Like, even if you can't use it, you can just send it off for Eldlich, so it's at least got utility there.
Yes.
And then our broken one of Zoodiac Barrage. You draw this, it lets you play through Disruption, or just gets you back into the game. You pop your Eldlich stuff, you get cards. It's really good.
Barrage is so good, man.
This card's dumb. As for the traps, we're playing 3 Scarlet Sanguine, 3 Conch, 3 Hawk. That's pretty standard. This summons the guy from the deck. This pops a card. This banishes a card from grave. These get you to Sanguine. This gives you to these.
Yeah.
And these are level 5s, so you can overlay these into Pleiades if you got 2 of them on the field.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. We play 3 Ice Dragon's Prison. This card's nuts. This card, like, blows out so many things that just play into it. Especially like for like the mirror match, they'll like get the Golden Lord in the graveyard and they'll try and summon it off its own effect, and you can just steal it or banish it. Like, both are insane against Eldlich.
Imagine them summoning Striker Dragon and you just taking out their Black Collapse Serpent or something and just going crazy with that.
This card is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And then the 3 copies of Solemn Strike. People don't play around this because, like, Dragon Link relies on chain blocking a lot of their things. So just outright negating their summon can throw them through for a loop and be like, oh shit, I don't have that effect. I was relying on that. Like, yeah. They can probably play through it, but it makes them play awkwardly, and that's what we want them to do.
Yeah, you always want to make your opponent have to think.
Yeah. As for the extra deck, we've got 1 Monkey, the 1 Boar. I'd probably play 2 of these, but I only own the 1 copy.
No, that's fine.
2 Chakanine for the free summon. 3 Tiger Mortar. I play 3 because I want to have the utility of 2, but I also want to make this turn 1 for the 3 material Trident. Speaking of Trident, she's not as powerful as she was before, but she's still like something your opponent has to deal with turn 1, and you can use it to try and push through more stuff going second. That's it for the Zoo piece of the deck.
Sad there's no Broad Bull.
Not sad. Screw that card. Construct Pleiades, like I said, you make him with 2 traps. He's annoying as hell. He's a boss monster to rival Trident. 1 Beedrill. You stack this on top of a dead Zoo and becomes a 2500 beater that floats if it gets outed. You can't make Zeus with this the turn you summon it. Hi, Patrick.
Yeah.
Except the game state. Speaking of the 2 Zeus, this is the reason to play Zoo over other engines, because if you stick this and they don't have the output right there, you basically win. And it's very easy to get this up with like 6 materials, so they have to play through it 3 times. Especially against like 2 negate boards of like Dragoon and Savage. They use both their negates and you just chain us the 3rd time, and they're like, well, shit.
Zeus is such... They either have to Nibiru you or just use their negates. It's just... Zeus is just so good.
This card's super good at just like equalizing the game state, and your opponent just loses because you're playing Eldlich.
Yeah.
And then my links, 1 Link Spider, you make this with the trap monsters and get them in the grave to get Sanguine. The 1 BLS, you summon this with the Golden Lord, becomes unkillable. Like, this is just a great boss monster. Speaking of Megaclops, this one's harder to make, but if you make this and your opponent doesn't have the out like there, you'll probably just win because this thing is super hard to out without like engine cards.
Yeah, you just summon the Trident off of it too, and you take one of their cards.
You can also summon Zeus off this after they out it the first time, which is hilarious.
Yeah. I also can't wait for the Ghost of from the Past reprint of the BLS Link.
Definitely. Like, if I could get that Ghost, that'd be great, but I'm not banking on it. So that's the extra deck. Let's move on to the side deck. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. I was playing evenly matched before this, but then I came to the reasoning that Zoo's never going to OTK you because like they rely on just sticking a Trident and playing the long game. So if I can resolve Dark Ruler No More, I can just stick a Zoo, put on any Xyz monster, attack and Zeus away their field in main phase 2. And that came up in the tournament. I did that to a Dragon Link player who had like a Savage, a Spheres, and Appaloosa. I dropped this on him, summoned a Zoo, wiped his field, and he couldn't do anything.
Did he not Spheres effect?
He activated Spheres, but at that point I was so far ahead he didn't stand a chance.
Makes sense. Got it.
Next, 3 copies of Triple Tack. I could probably cut this, to be honest, but I love this card so much because all 3 of its effects are incredible. Like, say your opponent ashes your Cursed Eldland, you can either just draw 2 cards, or you can look at their hand and take away an important card of theirs, like the Lightning Storm or an engine card that they need. Like, it just makes it so much easier for you to equalize the game state, and that's where you want to be. 2 Lightning Storm and the 1 Feather Duster. I'm putting these together because they fulfill the same purpose. I never side this in against combo decks because this is never resolving against the combo deck. And if it is, it's because I drew Dark Ruler No More, and at that point I just want to draw a Zoo instead. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. This is basically just there for Dragon Link, but it comes up really well against Invoke Dogmatica and those kinds of decks that rely on searching a lot.
You should really start that out for your Drytron friends, you know? They don't have a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And then 3 copies of Solemn Judgment for when I'm expecting my opponent to side in like back row removal. Because even though Eldlich can recover from a Lightning Storm, it doesn't want you to Lightning Storm at turn 1 because then you just OTK. So I want to make it hard for my opponent to actually deal with my stuff. I guess I'll give a quick report on the locals.
Yeah.
My round 1 was Dragon Maid. He actually showed up a little late, so I got the game 1 win. That didn't matter because he kicked my ass. That deck is... I'm not going to say like it's ridiculous, but he made it look a lot better than what I've heard it out to be. Like I basically got 2-0'd. He destroyed me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he kicked my ass, dude.
Dude, I played against that guy. We were playing like for 30 minutes. That guy was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, he was schmoovin'. Round 2 was a kid. Sorry, kid. I beat him up.
Bully them. Take the free win.
Round 3 was a pure Eldlich deck playing Inspector Border. He goes Border set 3, and he's got like this grin on his face, and then I activate Alba, and he's like, oh. I 2-0'd him in like 20 minutes. It was Ice Dragon's Prison came up big there because he summoned the Golden Lord Fusion, and he went to go get his other Lord from Graveyard. I chained Ice Dragon's Prison, and he has no cards. And I top deck a Zoo, and he's like, no.
Listen to the story, kids. Don't play the zombie version. It's not worth it.
Round 4 was the Dragon Link player. He was new to his deck, he said. I won the roll, went first. He ashed my tanky, didn't matter. I already had the Zoo and like 4 Eldlich cards, so I just destroyed him. Game 2, he, like I said, put up the Sphere Savage Appaloosa board. I Dark Ruler him, I Zeused him, set up Eldlich stuff. He Levianeered my board. I chained Zeus, actually. He chained the Cyclone he top decked. I chained Zeus again to get my Eldlich card in the graveyard, and from there it was easy. Because he had no cards, and I just have my Eldlich engine ready to go. So that was 2-0. And then my round 5 was against Trap Shadow. That was probably the hardest match of the day. Because, like, both of us are playing grindy decks, but my deck is just better. So, eventually, I came out on top in both games, even though he won the roll. My prizing was shit. Got 3 packs, didn't pull anything good. But we took 5th. That's where it matters. That's where we want to see it. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the deck performed. In the future, I'd probably cut the Zoo engine just a little bit, like 1 or 2 cards. And maybe side deck the Cosmic Cyclones for Pop Prosperities. Just because I want to try that card out, see how it affects the consistency. But yeah, that's the list. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And this is Peace I Wago signing off.